The next thing we're going to do on Boxing Bros is rate Canelo Álvarez, or shall I say Saul Canelo Álvarez. Trill, you want to bring us in with the Mexican national anthem?
Please don't.
Nah. I don't want to butcher
Trill,
it.
man, how you gonna get a spotlight on you and it not do it?
I don't want to butcher it in front of all my fellow Mexicanos out there. I don't want them to crucify me. But I just want them to know. I just want them to know. Every time it comes on, I sing with all my heart. You know what I'm saying? I swear I know all the words.
Before we came on, Trill was butchering the Mexican.
Yeah, Trill was all
anthem.
practicing.
Listen, it sounded like he failed first grade Spanish. All right.
Trill's always Mexican from the waist up. Come on, man.
All right. What we're gonna do is we're gonna rate Canelo, starting with Trill, the honorary Mexican appointed by him.
Boxing Bros may go.
Yeah. So Canelo Álvarez, Trill. How do you rate his power? Oh, and you see this new screen. Hold on, I gotta come back. You see this? Thanks to Kevin Kilgore for
salute.
Salute.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right. What we're gonna do is Trill. How do you rate Canelo Álvarez power?
I give Canelo a 95. We're talking about 53, 1 and 2. Canelo, Saul, Canelo Álvarez. I give Canelo a 95. Canelo got power, especially when he hits you to the body. It's a wrap. You know?
All right. G, what do you rate Canelo Álvarez power?
I give Canelo Álvarez a 90. You know, and my 90 is based upon him in the middleweight division. So, in the middleweight division, I got him at a 90.
Because of the middleweight division? Because he knocked out Kovalev. He knocked out Kovalev at 175.
Yeah, but it's like that was only one fight at light heavyweight.
He stopped Rocky Fielding in a higher weight class also.
Yeah, but if I go higher weight class, then I got to compare him to Benavidez and some of the other guys. You know what I mean? So
he's in his own class, yo.
Man,
I mean, but he has to fight in the division, guys. So like, you know what I mean? Like
he's in every division.
Yeah, that's true. So I was like, what do I do? Do I do super welterweight? Do I do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Light heavyweight, like I think middleweight is ideally I think Canelo is a middleweight anyways. He's 5'8", so that's probably the ideal division for Canelo.
All right, Ned.
Hey man, Canelo's no slouch, yo. G, you better respect yourself, yo. You might have to face that man one day, yo, talking all that mess. I gave that man a 97 for his power, yo. He could fight in any class.
Like a 90 is bad.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm so.
It's disrespectful to Canelo. He's the face of boxing right now. That man is the face of boxing.
Yo, you know what else is funny? This dude is talking like he didn't give Pacquiao 50.
Hey, yo.
Y'all never gonna let that down.
Oh, but the way he's coming at G, the way he's coming at G, it's like,
give me my ball.
Watch your mouth, G.
Give me my ball.
50. Oh man, you crazy, Ned.
Yo, it's crazy. That's gonna follow Ned for the rest of his life. Yo, 200 years from now, they're gonna be walking past his grave and they're gonna be like, here's the guy that gave Pacquiao 50. You know what I'm saying?
Man, crazy.
All right, so for me, I gave him for power a 90, which averages to 94. But the reason why I gave him a
93 averages to 93.
Oh, sorry. It was the average kicked in after 93. My bad. Thanks for clearing that up, G. Average to 93. The reason why I gave him a 90 is because he does show power and he does have good power. But there have been times he's dropped people and he couldn't get them out of there, like no doubt Trout, and he's hurt people. He has enough power to sting people. But when I think of Canelo Álvarez, I don't think of one-punch knockout artist. I think of a guy who hits hard enough to hurt you, accumulation of punishment. I think the guys who you rate that I rate higher than 90 are guys who devastating one-punch knockout fighters, typically. But what I will say is Canelo Alvarez has had knockouts like that against Amir Khan, Chinny, and James Kirkland.
That was crazy.
But he does have good power in his fights. Like, he went the distance with Miguel Cotto. He went the distance with Triple G. He went the distance with Daniel Jacobs. So, and they respect his power. But I'm not going to act like I seen Canelo just straight take the heads off of guys with one punch when he stepped up in class. Even Sergey Kovalev, he broke him down with body punches and accumulation of punishment. So that's why I gave him a 90 for power before Trill and his fellow Mexicans jump on your boy. All right.
Now, I'm just saying I agree with your assessment and with G's assessment too. The reason why I was saying about, I brought up the power, because it does take power to break a bigger man down. And he has that power to break a bigger man down. We all know Canelo's a small guy, man. Canelo's 154. He's doing things. He's fighting guys at 160, 168, 175. You know what I'm saying? And that's power that's moving up, that's able to break down the bigger guys. That's why I think Canelo deserves some props on power. But I definitely
think so too. I don't think 90's disrespectful at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it makes sense.
No, 90's not disrespectful at all. Just don't go to Tijuana no time soon.
Well, luckily I can't anyway. So, Trill, how do you rate Canelo's speed?
His speed is tricky to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's the Danny Garcia, Miguel Cotto effect, where it has something to do with timing, or where he learned from Floyd from that one loss, because he snaps back. He wasn't doing that little that snap back with that right with that he learned from Floyd. He wasn't doing that. He got like sneaky speed. You know what I'm saying? So I gave Canelo a 90.
Trill, speed for Canelo, 90. G, what do you give Canelo for speed?
Yeah, I gave Canelo a 93. Like, his jab may not seem the fastest, but he's real quick with the counters. And so the way he throws combinations is pretty fast also. So 93 for speed.
Ned, what do you give Canelo for speed?
I give Canelo 95 for speed. And the reason why is like Canelo, every fight is different.
Yo,
listen,
we got towels, yo.
Listen, everything else.
We forgot the towels, man.
I got mine, but I'm like,
I gave him a 95 for speed.
Let the man explain.
Every fight is different. Canelo knows how to break down his opponent and knows how to.
Trill, let him explain.
Let him explain.
That's it. I gave him a 95. Yeah.
Oh God.
Come on, I ain't gonna throw the towel in on that. Come on,
95 on speed for Canelo. He just wow. All I can say is, yo, your fanboy shows for certain fighters, man. Real talk.
Yo, he's the face of boxing, yo.
He's the face of boxing. That's his answer.
Face of boxing gets brownie points.
Wow, face of boxing gets brownie points.
That's his answer, and he's sticking to it.
Listen, I like Canelo Alvarez. If you check my pound for pound rankings, he's number one. He's been number one. We did it a while ago. We're gonna do it again at some point. But all I would say is this: like, to give Canelo 95 for speed, 95. Like, the guy who Floyd beat to the punch. So, and I know Floyd's fast, but he beat him to the punch. Like, and I've seen so many other fighters be faster than Canelo.
We're talking after Floyd, after the lesson.
After Floyd, yes, that's after the lesson.
After that lesson.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna do.
I still don't think he's that fast, but
he's definitely not a 95. But I'm gonna put my number in for his speed, which is 90. So he comes to a total of 92. Here's my thing with his speed. I think Canelo is decent speed, top end speed, but he's not always the fastest guy in the ring. There are guys who beat him to the punch. There are guys who are faster than him. But Canelo's reaction time, his timing is magnificent. But that's a part of boxing IQ. His speed, his hand speed, it's good enough to compete with any fighter in top end speed. But to me, there have been times when he definitely wasn't the fastest fighter in the ring. He wasn't the fastest fighter in the ring with Izani Laura. He wasn't the faster fighter in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. Wasn't the fastest fighter in the ring with Daniel Jacobs. So I've seen him in there with guys who have faster hands. But his hand speed is respectable, and he can catch guys. So I give him credit for that. But to say 95, God. All right, Trill, what do you give Canelo for stamina?
I give Canelo a 95 in stamina. He's to me going up and down in weight and still being able to go 12 rounds and dropping bigger guys and taking bigger guys out, dropping down in weight, going up in weight. Canelo don't be seeming gas in there. So I give him a 95.
All right, G.
The stamina, I gave him an 85. Canelo does fade in later rounds, and with the exception of one fight, and that was Chavez Jr. That fight, I was like, his stamina was at 100. But I also believe Canelo was on the tacos in that fight. But with every other fight, including both Triple G fights, like he fades in the later rounds. So it's like for me,
I seen him rally. He didn't lose on points in the later rounds. He rallied in the later
but what
rounds.
I'm saying is you could see he's actually getting tired. He throws less punches. Like it's visible. He even drops his guard like in later rounds. You see it in his fights.
Forgive me, your accusations against Canelo made me forget what your score was. What was it again?
Oh, my bad. 85 for Steve.
85.
Throw in the towel, yo. Where my towel at?
85. You know what, man?
I gave him a 97 for power. And nobody threw nothing. Yo, whatever, man. All right, it's cool.
Yo, towel, man. I'm throwing in the towel.
Throwing in the towel on that, yo.
Come on, man. I need a towel.
Man, I don't understand y'all for real.
I need a towel,
85 is respectable, man.
No, it's not. He's the face of boxing, G.
So because he's a face of boxing.
What kind of argument is that?
That's not a good argument, Ned. That's not a good argument.
Yo, Ned, you learn how to argue with complex.
Yo, G.
Right.
Yo, G. I'm sorry, but wholeheartedly disagree with you, my brother. But most respectfully, though, because your eyes and my eyes is totally different. Because I see some, I don't see them fade. I see sometimes where he comes on and goes even harder. I see him sometimes he even starts late and then comes on. You know what I'm saying? Canelo be having a game plan in there where he's doing.
Yeah,
you know
but even with that, but Trill,
even when he
put
his hands down, even when he was putting his hands down, he was baiting for the person to come in to catch him with something. You know what I'm saying? Like at 85, I think.
All right, walk with me on this. Like the Triple G fight, right? The first one. There was rounds where for like a whole minute he rarely did anything, and then he'll try to rally at the end of the round to try to pretty much steal the round because I think he's tired. You know what I mean? So he's trying to steal a round.
Oh, that was nothing to do. Not to cut you off, but that has nothing to do with what Triple G was doing.
Yeah, and also just to add,
maybe that's an IQ thing.
You gave a lot of props to Keith Thurman for doing that in his fight with Danny Garcia. So
props for what, stamina?
For throwing punches in the final seconds of the fight. You said you gave him props.
Yeah, no. For IQ, that's what I was probably doing when I made the argument for Thurman, because that is a good thing to steal rounds. You know what I mean? Like, but what I'm saying is, when it comes to stamina, we're just focusing on stamina. Canelo has a stamina issue. I'm just shocked that you guys disagree with me on this, but it's cool.
Wait, who doing the towel for the 85?
All of y'all did. Y'all haters. You know what I'm saying?
That 85 isn't going rock. All right, Ned, what you got?
Man, bump what G saying. I gave him a 99 for stamina. That man go 12 rounds, take you out early. And this
if y'all throw in the towel for me, y'all better throw it.
Let me go. Let me get what
Let
I'm saying out. Canelo, every fight is different for him, so he breaks down his fighters differently. So he'll let things slide in earlier rounds, or in the beginning of a round, he'll let a fighter do what he got, test feel the fight out, and then he brings it. He breaks him down. He takes him out. So come on now. I give that man a night. Like every fight is different. You gotta bring your man down differently.
So true. You want to let this 99 stand?
That's all. Let that rock.
I'm a 99.
Nah.
Face of boxing.
Listen.
That's what I'm giving him.
Listen. I'm not saying that Canelo ain't never got. This is a fight. These are fights. You know what I'm saying? These are fights. A guy's is gonna get. When are they gonna get tied? You know what I'm saying? But to say that this guy who has gone 12 rounds, he's not been dropped, nothing to show you signs of fatigue. Like to me, I've never seen signs of fatigue. You know what I'm saying? But I have seen him get a little laxed in there. I don't know if it's IQ or what he's trying to do. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't go as much as say a 99.
98.
I thought you was justified at 99. I was like, this game crazy.
Let's work with me.
All right, man. So I think.
Hold on. You're gonna count that 99?
No, net score is not gonna count.
All right, cool.
But your score is not gonna count either.
Man, whatever.
My score was a 95. So the reason
you might as well count me in that then, because it's gonna
balance out.
Nah, bro, you too low. He's too high, yo. That's
to like a 90.
But I'm just saying, you do know it evens out though. I'm just letting
it doesn't matter. It's not about.
But then you might have to recalibrate the Excel sheet too, because it's gonna factor in it might factor in 2 zeros.
No, it says 95.
Oh, all right, cool.
I think what I did was. All right, so check this out. For me, have there been times where I've seen Canelo winded? Yes, I've seen him winded. But to me, it's not a stamina issue. I'll give you an example. If you run, if you jog, if you play sports, if you jog on a consistent basis, people will ask you, what's your time? What's your time? How fast do you run a mile? And you say, I'll run it in 9 minutes and 20 seconds. If there's ever a situation and you typically run 5 miles at 9 minutes, 20-second clip. If there's ever a situation where you were forced to run one of those miles at an 8-minute clip, it's going to throw you off for the other miles. But it doesn't mean you have bad stamina. You're going to look more tired. You're going to look more exhausted. But if you still complete it, you still complete it. The way you look is just because at some point you were forced to go out of your comfort zone, which means you're forced to push yourself a little more than you're used to. Now, if you fall out then I'll say you got some stamina problems. In some fights, in some moments, Canelo has been pushed to an uncomfortable pace. He's been forced to work harder than we've normally seen him have to work. And so for that reason, he looked exhausted in those moments. But what I also know is he didn't fall, he didn't quit, he didn't falter. He rose to the occasion. So that tells me he doesn't have stamina issues, because if he did, when he was pushed, he would have failed. He would have fallen. I'll tell you who had stamina issues. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury has stamina issues. I'll tell you who has stamina issues. Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz in that first fight. That's what stamina gets you. And one of the first sayings that they used to tell me in the gym, stamina will make a coward out of any man. But I'll tell you what, I haven't seen a scenario where I'm like, Canelo Álvarez is about to lose this fight because he has bad stamina. And another thing about Canelo Álvarez, he moves up and down in weight. That's been a death blow for a lot of people. Look at what happened to Roy Jones when he did it. Look at what happened to Antonio Tarver when he did it. Look at what happened to so many other guys when they try to maneuver up and down in weight and their performance suffers as a result. Now, like I said, I'm always going to keep it a buck. I'm always going to keep it real. I don't think Canelo Álvarez stamina is a 99. That's a force. I don't think it's an 85 either. I think that's too low. But what I will say is Sometimes he gets pushed out of his comfort zone. And sometimes that makes him tired. Sometimes that makes him have to get a second win. But his stamina is always good enough to finish that fight with a dub. In every fight except for one. So for me, I can't sit here and say he has stamina problems. Because if he had stamina problems, someone would have exploited it by now.
Yeah. You don't become the pound for pound #1 star in the sport having these stamina issues.
And as much as he's in the gym, like, I don't know. All right, so now we're gonna go to chin. Trill, what do you rate Canelo Alvarez chin?
100. 100. 100. Where your flags at? No flags? 100. He got, man, listen.
G want to throw one.
Yo, y'all some haters, man.
Nah, listen. I give, like I just said, he ain't never been dropped. I ain't never seen him do the stinky leg. I ain't never seen him, you know what I'm saying? In tough fights. He was even in there with somebody that was supposed to be a monster, a killer. You know what I'm saying? Triple G was supposed to be a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Kovalev actually
actually killed somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are supposed to be killers. Canelo took their best shot and won the fight. You know what I'm saying? So, got to give Canelo 100. 100. His chin has held up.
G.
Trill's bugging, but I gave him 100. You know what I mean? Nah, Trill's right on this one, 1,000%. You know? Canelo got the traditional Mexican chin. I've never seen him drop. You know,
chin courtesy of Mexico.
Yeah, I've seen him with Triple G. Triple G landed like a mean right uppercut. Like, it was crazy. Boom. Canelo brushed it off like it was nothing. When he fought Cotto, although that was at like junior middleweight, Cotto still got popped, and Canelo ate those shots also. So I don't know what it is, man. His chin is made out of like Superman, like Man of Steel type like granite or something, man. This dude's concrete in the jaw. You know, it might be the taco. No, I'm playing. No, to Canelo's chin, man, 100.
You got one more time to mention some taco meat. All right, Ned. What do you rate his chin?
Yeah, I rate his chin. What they saying? I rate his chin at 200, man. Yo, Canelo's chin is born.
That means 100.
Raised. It's manufactured from Tijuana, Mexico, man. Like, yo, come on now. That's the face of Mexico, yo. That chin is solid. Ain't nobody breaking that chin. I gave that boy 100 for the chin, yo. That jaw is solid, yo.
All right, good job.
Never seen him rock. And if he take punches to the face all day, man. So, yeah.
All right. Relax with your
yo, fanboy Ned, be easy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yo, Ned, what are you gonna do if Canelo Alvarez has to fight Earl Spence? What are you gonna do with that? That's what I want to know.
Fight. I just know that it's just our eyes might blow up from that amazing fight. I'll just say that. Just might go blind, yo.
Boy, know himself. Feel me?
Yo, he gonna cry regardless.
Don't know what to do.
During the fight, he gonna cry through the whole fight.
Fight each other.
Through the whole fight.
That's his worst nightmare. He hope that fight don't happen.
Have a major malfunction. Oh man.
All right, man. I'm gonna keep this simple. There's no need to beat a dead horse, but Wilder doesn't mind. Ortiz 2, Ortiz 3 might be coming. Anyways, like I said, we'll move on. I agree with everyone's assessment in terms of his chin. So footwork. What do you rate Canelo Alvarez footwork, Trill?
I give him a 90. And Canelo just keeps getting better. You know what I'm saying? At first, I was like, he used to have a hard time cutting off the ring. Now he's like the cutting off the ring master. If you want to learn how to cut off the ring, just watch a Canelo fight. Does his last couple of fights. He's been moving like real swiftly. I don't know what they doing down there, the Rossos are doing down there to help him with his speed work. I think he's doing more salsa dancing than something because his speed work is getting better and better. Every fight I see him, his footwork is getting impressive. So I give him a 90.
All right. G.
Man, all right. I gave him an 88 for footwork. He's his footwork looks great when he's fighting like guys that are stationary fighters, but he doesn't really show lateral movement like a Daniel Jacobs or a Caleb Plant. And I think it's because he does have knee injuries. Like if you notice, like every fight he has like knee braces and knee tape and everything like that. So I think it kind of messes with his mobility. But regardless, I feel like it might cost him later in his career. And so that's why I gave him an 88 for footwork.
So just to be clear, you're giving him an 88 for something that hasn't happened yet.
No. What I'm saying is it is happening. I'm saying
it might cost him later on in his career, and that's why you gave him an 88.
No. Yeah, because of what I'm saying is he doesn't really utilize lateral movement like let's say like a Usyk or I don't even want to compare them, but like for example, like even Triple G, he uses lateral movement in the ring. Canelo not so much. So Canelo looks great when he's fighting a guy that's stationary like him, but when a guy's like moving around, like even in the Daniel Jacobs fight, he has some issues with that, you know? And so I think it's because he has knee injuries. And so that's why I gave him 88. I was just saying, I think if he's fighting somebody who's more talented foot-wise, it may cost him the fight. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not disagreeing with the 88, but I think with the Jacobs fight, I just think it took him a little time to figure out Jacob. Jacob was a different type of fighter than he was.
No, I agree. Yeah, because of his movement. You get what I'm saying? So
don't sleep on Jacobs, man. Jacobs is a terrific fighter, man. He's not.
I didn't say he wasn't. I'm saying like he's official. Like for example, if Canelo fights Caleb Plant, I will be worried about Caleb Plant's movement in the ring and how would Canelo stop that movement. You get what I'm saying?
With the body.
Yeah, hopefully. But
he'll stop a Caleb Plant.
All right, Ned. Footwork.
I gave his footwork a 96. So. Yeah, G brought up some good points. Listen, G brought up some good points, but
man, come on.
His footwork hasn't cost him yet.
Yo, I don't like the fact that, you know what, I'm not going to throw in the towel on this, but
I mean, it's Canelo Álvarez we talking about, the number one pound for pound boxing. Y'all gonna do him like.
I'll join you guys.
Man fights in 6 divisions. He had 56 fights at the age of 29. He has 56 fights on his record, on his resume. And y'all gonna do him like that?
Let me ask you a
question. What does that have to do with his footwork? What does that have to do with his footwork?
What does that have to do with the price of tea in China, bro?
I know, bro.
Yeah, I gave Wilder, what is it?
We're trying to give him a fair overall rating, bro.
Deontay Wilder for footwork.
He had no legs that fight, yo. It was bad. It was bad for Wilder. Let's not bring that mess.
It's cool. Don't worry about it.
I was going off his last fight. Wilder's last fight. Man lost his leg. So he had no footwork in that fight. I gave Canelo 96. So at 29, the kid does great. He comes in, his footwork never fails him, and you know that's where we go.
All right, man. I had enough of you.
I don't know how to score.
That's crazy. Why I had to mute Ned. He just
yo, this is crazy.
I had to mute Ned for this mutiny. Like, yo, what a fool this guy is, man. Yo.
Trying to give a fair overall rating.
I don't know, man. The way y'all acting, you might throw the towel on me. All right, Ned, you're unmuted. You just muted for
the fans. Feel me on this one.
Man. He muted again. All right.
Mexico feels me.
Maybe the Canelo groupies feel you.
All right, so what I gave him a 92. And I'm going to explain the reason why I gave him a 92. You guys are right. Izani Laura had better footwork, moved around him. Daniel Jacobs, Austin Trout even moved around him for a little bit. I've seen guys, and Sergey Kovalev even was doing his thing with him a little bit. Mm-hmm. But the one thing Canelo Álvarez does do is cut the ring off very well. And so something has to be said when you don't have the best footwork in the ring, but you're still able to get to a guy like Izani Laura, who's been able to outbox so many people, who's been able to dance around and avoid being hit by so many people. Canelo Álvarez was able to corner him and touch him up to the body. Canelo Alvarez was able to corner and get Austin Trout in there and touch him up. He was able to touch up Danny Jacobs. So they're guys who have better footwork than Canelo, but only one guy had the footwork and the ability to beat him. Everyone else, for all the credit you want to give their footwork, they couldn't dance around Canelo. So for that reason, I had to give him a 92.
I respect it.
All right, so Canelo's current averages 93 for power, 92 for speed, 95 for stamina, 100 for chin, and a 90 for footwork. And now we enter the heart. Trill, what do you give Canelo Alvarez for heart?
You know that boy get 100. You know that boy get 100 or heart. You know what I'm saying? Do I have to say this all over again? Canelo, the #1 pound-for-pound star in the sport. Canelo get 100. He's not scared of a challenge. He moves up and down in weight like it's nothing. Canelo is amazing, man. This boy gets heart. He has all the heart. You know what I'm saying? He fights for the pride of his country. You know what I'm saying? He fights for his family, and he fights for himself. You know what I'm saying? And he wants to be a legend and go down in the sport as one of the greatest. You know what I'm saying? And he is. He is going down as one of Mexico's greatest. You know what I'm saying? When you speak of Chavez, you're going to have to mention Saul Canelo Alvarez.
All right, G.
I agree with Trill. I gave him 100. You know, Canelo, he's bigger than any title because he fought Mayweather, he fought Cotto, he fought Jacobs, he fought Triple G twice, and he fought Kovalev. So to me, you know, he's going in different divisions: middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight, and he's pretty much taking over the game. And remember, he's 5'8", going up against guys that are 6 feet, 6'1", and beating them. You know, like I thought Kovalev was the crusher for real, and he took on the crusher and he made him submit. You got to give him 100 for that.
Ned.
Oh, are we on the same page again? You know, I give that boy 100 for heart, man. Like we all know, we fight some.
We never on the same page.
Surprised he try to take on the cruiserweight and the heavyweight after this, yo. Once
he might take on that.
solidify his feet.
He might take on
in the game as the #1 pound for pound in any class, yo. He's gonna create his own class, like pound for class, yo. Any class, yo.
I just want to know, Ned, who will you pick in a fight between Earl Spence and Canelo Alvarez?
Yo, his brain's about to explode, man. Damn. Did he freeze?
Yeah, there's a way to shut him up. All right.
Oh.
So Ned gives Canelo 100 for heart. For heart, come on, man. Pro at 15.
Mm-hmm.
The list of names on his resume, the way he moves through divisions, there's no debating it in my opinion. 100 for heart. So boxing IQ, Trill, what do you
95.
give Canelo?
95. I give Canelo a 95. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving him a 95 for the whole body of work. You know what I'm saying? He only got one loss, and that was the best teaching he could have got. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't get Mayweather in the gym to spar, but he got him in the ring, and he learned lessons. And since then, the boy, listen, it's been amazing. You know what I'm saying? It's been amazing. Sometimes it's a chess match, but he figures the chess match out, and he gets to his opponent, and he gets the dub. I give him a 95.
All right, G.
I gave him also a 95. You know, Canelo, defensively sound, good counter fighter. He slips punches. And also what he does that I really do enjoy is he rolls with shots. Like Tyson Fury also does this. And so to me, it's like defensively, his IQ is like up there. But best of all, similar to what Trill was saying, he learns from previous mistakes. After that loss from Floyd, his defense like just tripled. His boxing IQ, his awareness in the ring, everything just improved and magnified. And I will say this also, when you compare the first Triple G fight to the second one, right? In the first fight, Triple G was complaining, saying, Canelo was running. That's not Mexican style, this, that, and the third, right? And rightfully so. Canelo was fighting off the back foot. There was times he was leaning on the ropes and taking a lot of punishment from Triple G. But in the rematch, it was a completely different Canelo Álvarez. He was the aggressor, constantly moving forward, constantly applying the pressure, forcing Triple G to fight off the back foot. That to me shows IQ. So again, Canelo 95.
Ned.
I gave that boy Canelo 100 on IQ, and this is why. I'm TBE, no doubt. But when Canelo fought TBE, he was about 22, 23 years old. And we always give our fighters slack, saying, "Hey, they shouldn't take they shouldn't take these tough fights so early in their career. They got a big career. They have a career they're working on, and this wouldn't be good to take on this early in their career." And he took on a very tough fight early at 22 years old, 22, 23 years old in his career. So since that fight, that whooping Mayweather gave him in that fight, he has grown so much, and he has to learn so much. He even trains with Mayweather. He trained with Mayweather. And so you got it, like the kid is a student in the game. And from what that fight was against his like his hardest fight of his career, till now he's changed. He's a totally different fighter. So I gave him 100 for his IQ.
I'm going to flag on it only because the explanation was poor.
Please mute G. Mute. 100. Respect it. Face boxing, 100.
I'm gonna give you the mute power, Ned, and you can.
You better not.
I'm gonna give it to him. He'll mute me. He'll mute all of us and just say a bunch of dumb stuff the whole time. No, so I feel like I gotta give like one of the best explanations that I've ever given, because I actually agree with Ned, and I gave him 100 for IQ. Here's why: his only loss was to a man who's arguably TBE, the best ever, and that guy has beaten 48 other fighters. He's 50-0, but there's 2 rematches in there. There's the rematch with Maidana and the rematch with Castillo. So you got 2 rematches in there, at least that I can think of off the top of my head. So 48 guys he's been in there with, and he's beaten. You can't hold that against Canelo because no one's really beaten Floyd Mayweather. He got schooled. Join the club. People get schooled by Floyd. But in every fight that he's ever had, he's found a way to win. Azarni Laura, he found a way to win. Now, I scored that fight. On my scorecard, I had Laura winning by 1 point. But Canelo did great body work. Canelo's the name, all types of things. It wasn't a robbery that he didn't get that decision. And in boxing, you see that. I think there was a De La Hoya versus Ike Corte. I had Ike Corte winning by 1 point, but I wasn't shocked that De La Hoya got that decision. There are fights like that when you're the B side, you got to take it from the A side sometimes. I'm not saying it's right, but that's the way that it is. So for me, Canelo Álvarez has shown he can figure out a way to win in every fight. And if he can't figure out a way to win, he can figure out a way to at least get a draw. He had the draw with Triple G. And he had a draw with, I think, some guy, Jorge, whatever, and early on in his career. So he's figured out a way to remain undefeated. And to me, that takes tremendous boxing IQ. And he started since he was 15. So, I mean, for all those reasons, I got to give Canelo 100 for the IQ. Now, you guys can flag both of us, but that's why I stand on it.
I don't flag yours because you actually have an explanation. I flag Ned for his explanation.
I like your explanation, but still, those draws is not wins. And if I'm gonna judge, like you said, with the greatest boxer of our era, Floyd, right? Not to peek ahead, I would give Floyd 100, right?
Yeah, I'm be honest with you. I would give Floyd 100 too.
So that's because no losses and no draws. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was saying, but definitely because of, and not so why, because it takes him so long to figure out an opponent. You know what I'm saying? Just because of sometimes he didn't do enough to secure certain wins in these draws. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was like, maybe he doesn't deserve a 400 because he's not perfect. You know, his
I get what
record
you're
will show that he's
saying.
not perfect.
I agree with what you're saying, but here's what I would say in the way I judge it. It's not necessarily you have to be perfect to have a high IQ. I'll give you an example. Virgil Hunter, right? Verge is one of the best trainers. Verge is a beautiful boxing mind, but he was never a champion. Sometimes you don't have the ability to pull off what you know. Sometimes, like, for example, Steve Kerr is a great coach, a great basketball mind, but he wasn't better than Michael Jordan. He couldn't be better than Michael Jordan. He just didn't have the physical ability to be better than Michael Jordan. And you look at certain guys like Freddie Roach, the boxing knowledge, and a lot of guys, Roberto Garcia, probably wasn't as good of a fighter as Mikey Garcia, right? But his boxing knowledge is extremely high. So for me, I understand what you're saying. 100's 100, right? And that's the high scale. So if you're gonna give Floyd a 100, unfortunately, you know, Floyd's brilliance and everything, but I can't deduct Canelo for not physically being able to compete with Floyd because his IQ probably was high enough. He just didn't have the ability. Like Verge probably has an IQ to wax everyone in a heavyweight division. He just doesn't have the ability. So that's why I like.
I like your logic behind it.
That's why I rate it the way I did.
Yeah, I was gonna come up. I agreed 1,000 with Trill, but I do agree with how you broke it down. But I was thinking more like Trill, that my standard is Floyd Mayweather. He's the 100, and then so everyone else falls beneath that. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I put.
I'll go with where you guys want to go with it because I understand your logic, and also I have the same score as Ned, so that kind of makes me say, you know, maybe I'm tripping. So if Ned was complex, I would rip my score up automatically. Just if we agree, just automatically.
Man. I don't know who worse, complex or Ned, man. When it comes to
we talking about the face of boxer right now. Yo, hold on. This man, you know what his overall is in this game? Probably like a 97. We can't be scoring the face of the franchise, face of the sport so low. So, you know, no shame.
Another argument that has nothing. You know what?
Oh my God,
You know what? There's a reason Ned couldn't be on last time.
Thank goodness.
The YouTube was not ready for Ned and Complex on the same show, man.
It would have been a 5-hour podcast.
Yo, so what y'all want to do? You throwing the towel, G?
For his 100?
For the 100.
Nah, let it rock.
I'll let it rock. It don't matter. I think it's gonna average out.
Let it rock.
Yeah.
All right.
Gonna come to a 98 or something?
97. So that's good. Oh,
all right.
98.
So here we have it. Oh, we had it. Now we have it again. The average for power, 93. Average for speed, 92. Average for stamina, 95. Average for chin, 100. Average for footwork, 90. Average for heart, 100. And average for boxing IQ, 97. For a total of 95.7. So we'll just round that to the nearest number, which is 96 overall for Canelo Álvarez. And thanks to Kevin Kilgore, we can now see Ned's waving the flag. We can now see the individual ratings as well. So individually, I rated Canelo a 95. Ned rated Canelo a 98. G rated Canelo a 94. And Trill rated Canelo a 95. So there you have it. Thanks for tuning into this rating. Take us home, bro.
Please like and subscribe. Tell us how you feel. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It's the Boxing Bros. Viva Mexico.
You want to do the national anthem in the closing?
Nah.
No.
We in the feeling like we're gonna fight ya.